Welcome back to Football Daily, where to make your Christmas all the better, we're running through 10 times football absolutely ravaged the festive season. 10. Mourinho faces Santa's sack. Jose Mourinho is pretty used to exiting football clubs under a huge black cloud, but nothing compares to what his father went through one Christmas. Mourinho Sr. managed Portuguese club Rio Ave in the early 1980s, and after leading them to promotion and a cup final, came into some bad form in the winter of '84. Staring relegation in the face, his side lost to Covilla just before Christmas, and according to his son, he received a phone call while he sat down to dinner with his family on the day itself. Perhaps the worst day possible to be put out of your job. But stats actually show that many club owners are particularly heartless bastards, surprise surprise, with their fingers hovering over the red button as the festive period comes about. Between 2009 and 2014, more managerial sackings in England's top two divisions took place in December than any other month, even doubling the number made at the end of the season. Absolutely brutal. 9. Rubbish presents. Next up, we have something that ruins Christmas every single year. Football clubs releasing a plethora of tacky and dressing it up as essential gift material. Many heinous crimes have been committed over the years in the build-up to the festive period, with clubs looking to make a quick buck wherever they can find it. Whether it be Tottenham putting out edible jelly meerkats, West Ham releasing their own range of lingerie, or West Brom styling their own Santa hat and beard, there is an unthinkable amount of footy-themed gear that is dumped on landfill sites across the world by the 1st of January. And in 2017, Premier League teams have been hot on following the latest trends, and you can now get yourself a fidget spinner in the colours of United, Liverpool, Chelsea or Spurs. Or if that's not to your taste, why not get your loved one a Man City elf on a shelf? We're sure they will appreciate it. 8. Boxing Day 1963. Christmas is undoubtedly a time of indulgence, and in England, the same concept is applied to football. Whereas other countries tend to give their players a well-deserved break, the English Football League makes them play even more for the enjoyment of the holidaying public. And on Boxing Day 1963, football fans lapped up one of the country's biggest ever goal fests in joy, with the exception of those following Man United, Ipswich or West Ham. Remarkably, 10 top-flight fixtures served up 66 goals, meaning there was an average of 6.6 goals in each game for all you maths heads. United succumbed 6-1 to Lancashire rivals Burnley, West Ham was slaughtered 8-2 at home by Blackburn, and Ipswich somehow fell 10-1 to Fulham. So it was a Christmas of absolute misery for the unfortunate fans of those clubs, although just 2 days later, the scores reversed. West Ham travelled up to Ewood Park and produced a shock 3-1 win, the Red Devils stuck 5 past the Clarets at Old Trafford, and Ipswich welcomed Fulham to East Anglia by beating them 4-2. Although it did little to make up for their absolute hiding at Craven Cottage. 7. Christmas Day Riot. But before the 1960s, games in the UK took place on Christmas Day itself, with mixed results. A Victorian tradition, these festive occasions saw thousands of fans flock to grounds up and down the country in their Christmas outfits and literally get merry in front of the game. On Christmas Day 1890, Blackburn hosted local rivals Darwen, but with an even more important trip to Wolves the next day, the Rovers fielded their second-string team. The visitors followed suit, and the inebriated crowd were having none of it. 3,000 fans from both sides stormed the field, took down both sets of goalposts, ripped up the carpets of the VIP seating, and even smashed a dressing room window. Then they all went home and put their feet up in front of the EastEnders special. At least, that's what we reckon. 6. Christmas Day Ruined. In 1909, Scottish defender James Mayne was handed a truly horrific Christmas fate. On the 25th of December, Mayne travelled to Partick Thistle with Hibernian for their festive fixture, and on arrival at the Glasgow club's ground, saw the pitch was completely iced over. Mayne allegedly told manager Dan McMichael, "You are risking life and limb asking anyone to play out there." But directors of both clubs decided to give the go-ahead after seeing thousands of spectators enter the ground to watch the game. Sam Allen was named as Hibs captain for the day, but after twisting his knee in the warm-up, Mayne was handed the armband for the first time in his career. But it would also prove to be his final game. Just before half-time, Partick's Frank Branscombe slipped on the icy turf and collided with Mayne, which caused the right-back to suffer a ruptured bowel. By the time the severe injury was diagnosed the next day, it was too late, and he sadly died in hospital. 5. Lennon's Festive Misfortune. Fast forward to the 21st century, and there is a new festive phenomenon in football: the Christmas party. As you'd expect, these involve, above all else, players getting drunk, acting in the most inappropriate way possible, and ending a year of hard work on a crushing low. And in the early noughties, Celtic's Neil Lennon managed to ruin his own Christmas 2 years in a row. For the boys' 2001 bash, Martin O'Neill took the team to Sizzler's Steakhouse in Glasgow, and mayhem ensued. Lennon ended up passed out on the pavement, smashing his head on the curb in the process. The following December, the club decided to take proceedings to Newcastle in order to avoid unwanted attention, but that's exactly what they got. A throng of paparazzi showed up, and Lennon, along with Bobby Petter, Johan Malby and Jus Valgaeren, were reported to the police for stealing and damaging £12,000 worth of camera equipment. They spent the night in custody and spent the holidays in shame. 4. The Great John Street Debacle. But if you want an example of some seriously inappropriate party behaviour, look no further than Man United in 2007. With the club flying high in the middle of one of its greatest ever seasons, manager Sir Alex Ferguson decided to let Rio Ferdinand organise their festive function. He would regret it almost immediately. The Red Devils centre-back banned all wives and girlfriends from the event, and to make up for it, invited 80 hand-picked women, who arrived when the players were 15 drinks deep. As you can imagine, things got sleazy pretty quick. Wayne Rooney was a prime culprit, treating an undercover Mirror reporter to the oh-so-smooth chat-up line, "I'm dressed like Justin Timberlake tonight, and you can be Beyoncé," before allegedly inviting her to join him in the toilets. What a classy guy. One of the guests compared the night to a horrendous cattle market, saying the players treated the girls like pieces of meat. And a 19-year-old Johnny Evans, who had yet to even make a league appearance for the club, got caught up in it more than most. He woke up the next morning to accusations of rape, although the charges were eventually dropped. 3. Newcastle's Secret Santa. Back in 1998, members of the Newcastle United squad found their own way of turning the birth of Jesus into a vulgar event. The club was sleepwalking through another disappointing campaign and decided to deal with their on-pitch difficulties with a dark sense of humour while buying each other presents. Alessandro Pistone, judged to have lacked heart on the field, was given a pig's heart, while Duncan Ferguson was handed a prison shirt, having spent time behind bars 2 years earlier for assault. But nothing topped the gift given to German midfielder Dietmar Hamann, Mein Kampf, which for those who don't know, is a book infamously written by Hitler. But when it comes to cultural and historical insensitivity at Christmas time, there can only be one winner. John Barnes, who turned up to his first ever party at Liverpool in the 80s, dressed in a Ku Klux Klan outfit. What a bloody disgrace. 2. Barton leaves his mark. And speaking of disgraces, this list would not be complete without Joey Barton, who was practically born to ruin Christmas. Barton's career is defined by his dirty behaviour on and off the field, but believe it or not, he committed his worst crime pretty early on. At Man City's Christmas knees-up in 2004, a 22-year-old Barton got involved in an altercation with teammate Jamie Tandy, which concluded with him stubbing a cigar in the young reserve's eye. Barton somehow got away with a £60,000 fine and spent another 3 seasons with the Citizens. Tandy, on the other hand, was released, battled booze and gambling addictions, and reportedly attempted to take his own life. He's since blamed his ordeal on the assault, although Barton has refused to believe it, labelling Tandy a gob. Clearly a sympathetic man. 1. The Christmas Day tragedy. But sadly, we have to end on a genuine Christmas disaster. If you're a sensitive soul, you may want to brace yourself. On Christmas Day 2016, a football team and its fans from Bulisa district in Uganda travelled across Lake Albert to play a match in neighbouring district Hoima. According to reports, the passengers were in merry mood, drumming, singing and drinking on the way to their seasonal fixture. All was well with the world. But the boat was overloaded and the party atmosphere made for a dangerous crossing. The boat capsized and over 30 of the passengers were tragically killed, with police later claiming that the operator was drunk. So thanks once again for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to click on screen right now, check out one of our other cracking videos, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.